It's time to take a ride on the Steelers Afternoon Drive with our co-hosts, Alan Saunders and Zachary Smith.
Welcome into another episode of Steelers Afternoon Drive. I am Zachary Smith. That is Alan Saunders on an afternoon drive. I kind of feel like he's, the Steelers show up tomorrow. They do the running test and see where guys are. I kind of feel like this is Alan's way of doing the same thing, just seeing where, the driving's at as he takes an afternoon drive here, getting prepared for training camp. But Alan, how are we doing?
Doing good. The driving is the one thing I don't have to do much at training camp. I drive out there and then I just kind of stay out there. That's nice. I don't know that I'm ready yet, though. The week has been a lot of meetings, trying to get ready to go. I got my hair cut. I'm not packed. I'm not packed at all. We're getting there. I have like 3 stories I have to finish tonight. I'm going to a meeting right now. It's going to be a long evening, Saunders household. We're getting ready to go, though. We're getting there. Listen, the time is of the essence, so.
Yes, absolutely. I was going to say, ready or not, it doesn't matter if you're ready. It's happening. So, you better
they don't hold it up for me, unfortunately. I try.
Yeah, I sent an email to Bert to see if it's possible to push it back a day to give you a little bit more time, but no go. Anyways, we're going to dive in, talk about some stuff, actually some league-wide stuff that's going on, but we still got a couple questions that we hadn't gotten to. And I want to start off, though. Yesterday, we talked about things that you're looking forward to, and a lot of that kind of surrounded, like, battles for a spot or whatever it might be, even if it's like bottom of the depth chart guys, not necessarily starting spots that are available. But that's one thing to be looking forward to. But we also talked about, and I want you to dive more into this, maybe some schematic changes potentially that you could see or you're looking forward to seeing if they take place. To me, honestly, I'm looking on the defensive side, and this isn't, necessarily a schematic thing as much as it is just one player moving around. But we've talked about TJ moving around a bit more. That'll be interesting. I actually have a follow-up question about that. But also on the back end of things, the way communication kind of broke down on the defensive backfield, last year when things kind of went off the rails. So is that something to keep your eye on this year as well? So what are you looking forward to in that regard?
Yeah, I want to see what the defense is coming up with in terms of answers. I really feel like most of what happened against the Ravens at the end of last year was communication and getting beat schematically. Like, the Steelers did something, the Ravens found an answer for it, and the Steelers never found another answer. Mm-hmm. And they've got to do that. I want to see what that looks like this year in terms of whether it's moving TJ Watt around, which I think they will do as a change-up a little bit more. But I would still venture that 80 to 90% of the time TJ Watt's going to be lined up in the same spot. You don't need to do it often to make it impactful, right? So, I don't know how much of that we're going to see at training camp, especially because, things like change-ups, when you're, tendency breaking, a lot of times the team will, hang on to those and not put them in until they get back to the south side so that everybody doesn't see it. Right. But, things like, okay, what are the secondary pack? What's the base defense in terms of secondary alignment? What's the nickel? What's the gun? Is the nickel 3 safeties? Is it 3 corners? Is it 2 of each and 1 Jalen Ramsey, and he is what he wants to be? And then, what do the coverages look like? Is this still just going to be Steelers, spot drop, cover 3, 30% of the time, mix in some other stuff, play some man-to-man? Or are we going to see more different coverages? I really expect to see more quarters this year. I think it's something that's a good fit for what they want to do and a better defense. I talked about it on an episode of Morning Rush right before I went on vacation. So if you want to know more about quarters and that kind of thing, go check that out. But I want to see how the secondary and the defense line up together in terms of, like you said, sorting out those communication issues and coming up with some answers for what the Ravens did to them schematically.
Yeah, man. Like, how bad of a taste did it leave in their mouth? Think about that. Like the way they ended last season, and 2 of those losses being to Baltimore. You look at the way that they attacked this offseason, how many times they had to answer questions about it last year, saying they felt like they had answers, but like until they put it on the field, we're not going to know that that's the case. Yeah, like I'm very curious about that aspect of things as well. We can continue to talk about that, but I said I had a follow up. Probably a good place to work in because it regarded Watt moving around a little bit. It's not about TJ, but like, what is the fallout of that then when he does move around? You know what I mean? Like, is Alex going to be able to rush from the other side? What type of impact will he make on that other side when he's asked to do so? Or if TJ's rushing from different spots along the line, like right over the center, how does that impact the way that they align there?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a number of different ways to try it. They've done it when they've done it before. That you can move TJ around a little bit. You can bring Herbig in and move him around a little bit. I think Herbig brings a real interesting dynamic because you can put him in TJ's spot, but that doesn't mean he's rushing from there. He's a very capable coverage player for an edge rusher, and so I think that helps. Like when they're able to get into that 3 outside linebacker look, I think it's a lot easier to move around. Um, and and especially not in base. Like I think that's one of the reasons the Ravens had so much success against them is that they used personnel to try to keep them in nickel and base and keep them from getting like into the more aggressive personnel packages that they have set up. I think they've got to find a way to be more aggressive out of their vanilla defenses. Like when you get into like the weird stuff, like 3 outside linebackers on the field, like they've done different stuff there, and it's easy. Like the schematic options are plentiful. Base Okie 3-4, getting TJ Watt to a different spot is not easy. I mean, you can just flip him and Alex Highsmith, but like that's not really better. Like if the assignment is just the back is going to chip TJ Watt, and it's not really a big deal for the back to run to his left instead of his right. Like you're not fooling anybody with that. Some more stunts or loops or different stuff that you can do. Mug different blitzes and things like that. I also think they probably need to blitz more, just in general.
I was just going to ask. Well, I was just specifically asked about Patrick Queen, but just in general, like he blitzed 8.4% of his snaps last season, lowest rate of his career by far. I was asked if he felt like that was something that we need to see more of in 2025.
I mean, I don't know about PQ specifically. I mean, he's certainly a good blitzer. I don't think it really matters where it comes from. I think they just need to do a little bit more of it. And that also comes with trusting their coverage more. You can't blitz more if you don't trust your coverage. And I honestly think they under-trusted their coverage last year. Yes, they had a lot of communications issues or freelancing or guys not understanding their assignment, whatever. But, like, I think on the whole, they would have been better last year if they called their defense like they trusted their coverage a little bit more than they actually did. Because the trade-off would have been a more aggressive defense that maybe made some more mistakes but also made some more big plays. And I think that would have worked for them. They definitely need to get there this year where they're trusting their coverage enough to let some blitzers loose on a more frequent basis. And I know they feel good about their 4 getting home, and that's why they don't blitz. But it's harder and harder for your 4 to get home the more and more you show teams that that's all you're going to do. You have to do some different stuff to make them respect different stuff, and then your 4 can get back to beating the 5.
Another thing that I thought about with you talking there, you mentioned like the 3 safety thing, and we've talked about that in the past. And, I don't even know what to categorize. I guess Jalen Ramsey right now, we'll just talk about him as a defensive back, just list him that way. Because if you're talking about him as maybe being that 3rd safety, then the answer to this could be yes. But I was wondering, like you coined it in the past, their heavy nickel when they used 3 safeties. I was going to ask if you even felt like they had the personnel to be able to do that with what's on the roster right now.
Sure, if one of them is Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what I was.
But I mean, it's like, the thing is that, so when you run, there's different ways you can run that heavy nickel. One of the ways is, if you're playing man, like if you're playing man, it's indistinguishable from a regular nickel at that point. Jalen Ramsey is just a Jalen Ramsey. It's not heavy because is he a safety or is he a slot corner? It doesn't really matter because you're playing man, right? So what you want to call him is kind of irrelevant. He's going to have a man-to-man assignment underneath, probably or back him in the backfield or something like that. But there's when you're playing zone is where it gets really different. Like, what kind of job are you giving him to do? I don't really want to see a lot of Jalen Ramsey in like cover 2 as a safety, but like they would play Minka as a robber sometimes. He can certainly take a curl flat zone. So I don't know that. I think they have the personnel to do it. I'm just not sure if they're going to want to, and if they are, how much they're going to want to. And I honestly think they probably don't know a lot of this. They're still trying to figure it out once they kind of see what these things look like on the field. I definitely think that is a competition in personnel that will play out through scheme, where like there's a battle between guys at different positions in the secondary, basically. Like, who gets more playing time in sub packages? Is it Beanie Bishop, or is it Warren Thornhill, or is it Corey Trice? You know, and then like whoever wins that competition is going to impact the way those defenses are going to have to be called. But I think you let the personnel drive the bus.
Yeah, no, I mean, that absolutely makes sense. And kind of speaking to that personnel driving the bus, I wanted to go back to, the conversation about quarters coverage, because obviously Darius Slay, a ton of experience doing that in Philly. And I just feel like, you look at like Joey Porter, seems like that would be something he would kind of excel in, running a lot of quarters. Like, I just feel like the personnel is there for that to be something that they do a lot of this year. And again, like historically, going back to last year with what they typically run, this would be a little bit of a shift, a transition. But do you feel like they are more in a position to, for the same reason that I'm saying, see a lot more of that this year? And is that one of like the schematic things that you're looking forward to seeing?
Yes. Remember there was like some a report, and I can't remember where it came from, before they traded Minka Fitzpatrick, about the Steelers going back to some of the things he did in college.
Yeah,
I don't remember whose report that was.
Yeah.
I wish I did. Might have been Jeremy Fowler, I think.
I think somebody.
Actually.
Yes, I just remember somebody asked us about it. I don't remember where the report came from, but
yeah. And well, obviously Minka's not going to be there, but you know what Minka did in college? Run a lot of quarters and run a lot of cover 6, which is just quarters on one side and cover 2 on the other. Like, those are Nick Saban staples, and I don't know. That's not exactly what there's good. Yeah, I mean that's the Nick Saban defense. Cover 4, cover 6. Those are a lot of things that Minka was doing then. Obviously, he's not going to be a part of what they're doing this year, but I think it makes a lot of sense for them to be interested in doing those things. Cover 6 is just cover 2 on one side and cover 4 on the other. And then there's a bunch of different variations of those coverages too that I think, it would not surprise me at all if we see a lot more of that. Now, I don't know if it's going to ever be their biggest defense, but like if it's 20%, that's a huge change.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. I guess the other thing is, you talked about them not wanting to necessarily like, unveil their plans or anything like that. But like at the same time, you obviously, if that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to be a big part of this defense, you're going to have to see it and then practice it. So like how early would we see something like that if it was part of their 2025 plans, do you think, in training camp?
Well, like, here's the thing. We're going to see it, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. How much we're going to see it on the field, I don't know yet. Like, they're going to put it in. I'm sure of that. They put a lot of things in. They don't always use the ball. So I think that's the other way that they, they're going to put in quarters for sure. Whether they use it or not, I don't know.
We'll you mean like the pony formation?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like,
all right. Well, that's actually
You had to bring that up, didn't you?
Well, I wanted to ask you, so we've talked a lot about defensive things that we're looking forward to schematically. Is there anything offensively? I'd say that, while there is like a lot of moving pieces and stuff like that, I think a lot of the focus of what we talked about was on the defensive side. Is there anything offensively other than just like the obvious, right? You have a new quarterback coming in Aaron Rodgers and how he's going to mesh and stuff, but what specifically should we be watching for from like that marriage and schematic standpoint?
Yeah, a lot on offense, honestly. I mean, Arthur Smith's out there talking at the press conference after the draft saying, I didn't get to run my offense last year. Okay, well, how's it look different? I mean, what's different about it now? I think Aaron Rodgers' ability to get rid of the ball fast is going to make it look very different. But he's got to have receivers that can get open quick. I mean, and I don't know that they have that a lot of the time. How much 12 personnel are they going to use? How much, if any, two running back are they going to use? I don't really love like a 3 receiver look for this team based on the personnel. Like we talked about a lot before, like their 5 best. You could maybe argue that their 5 best eligibles have 1 wide receiver now, maybe 2, depending on where you want to put Caleb Johnson and Calvin Austin. Like, so I think how is all the 12 personnel going to play out? What's DK Metcalf's role? Does he just do what George Pickens did? Because he's a different player, and I think a better player, better maybe is the wrong word, but a more well-rounded player in terms of his ability to do more different things. So I'm really interested to see what Arthur Smith can cook up for him. Also, we really don't have any idea.
How often did George come off the field last year, like in 13 personnel? I think DK can stay on the field.
Yeah, I don't want that happening with DK Metcalf. I mean, he makes it 0-4%. He is a tight end. So it's funny. There was a couple times in spring where he would be lined up in a bunch with like Freiermuth, and I would be like, "How many tight ends is that? 1, 2, 3." But no, that's a wide receiver. Sorry, never mind.
What's this tight end doing wearing number 4?
They're basically the same size. Like they're not that. Like, Freiermuth is a little bit bigger, but not much. So yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot there, and then how does the running game change without Najee Harris? And I think we've all sort of acknowledged that like Caleb Johnson's a better fit, Jaylen Warren's a better fit for the things they've done. Like, has the toss play been banished? Because that was basically just a way to try to get Najee Harris into a different rushing lane without making him change directions. What else are we going to see that's different about this running game with different backs in there? I don't know. So that's something I'm looking forward to seeing too. I think there's opportunity for a lot of schematic changes on both sides of the ball.
We've talked a lot about, Steelers fans, and I know that you've had this conversation back and forth, not only on here, but online with Steelers fans about the utilization of the middle of the field. Last year, though, other than that just being the most dangerous part of the field to throw the ball to, last year the quarterback really couldn't see it. So, you could chalk it up to that as well. But, so I guess, stupid question, because obviously it would be more in play this year than last year. But how do you kind of like, I don't know if divvy up it would be the right word to use here, but attribute things to quarterback play or just the offense in general, identity, what they want to do in terms of why that has been a portion of the field they haven't used, and should it be expected more this year?
I do expect more of it this year. Russell Wilson has never done it his entire career. We talked all last offseason about how that was going to be a conflict point between what Arthur Smith wants to do and what Russell Wilson has shown he's capable of doing, and it in fact turned out to be exactly that. So I don't see that conflict this year. Aaron Rodgers is very comfortable throwing over the middle. Arthur Smith wants to throw over the middle. They have some of their best weapons are over the middle players. Johnny Smith, Pat Freiermuth, Rowan Wilson, Calvin Austin. Really, the only one of their best offensive weapons that is most comfortable outside the hashes is DK Metcalf. All of the rest of them would prefer to be inside. So, I mean, I think it's overstated if the Steelers just threw the ball in the middle of the field, oh my God, that'd be so good. Like, no, they wouldn't.
Yeah,
That'd still stink.
right.
At throwing the ball. Like it's not that big of a deal. But I think like that does look like an area where there should just naturally, because of the change in quarterback, and when you look at the talent level of the players involved around him, like it feels like that's something that should make a big swing this year.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the best way to say it right now is like the opportunity is there for it to be like it wasn't possible last year, basically,
Correct.
because of the quarterback. So whether it comes to fruition or not is a different conversation. But based off the personnel that is in place, it should at least be more of an opportunity for them to do so. While we're talking about personnel, we actually have a question about that. However, this specifically relates to goal line situations. What kind of personnel do you think that we could see in goal line? Do you think that we might even see some 23 or 14 personnel?
Yes. I mean, 23 is like a standard goal line formation.
Oh wait, no. I'm sorry. This question was: do you think that we'll see it outside of goal line situations? Sorry, I misread that.
No, I mean, you can just expand goal line to say goal line and short yardage. Yeah, they'll do all that stuff in goal line and short yardage. But I mean, I don't think you'll see it commonly outside of that. I mean, it's 13, yeah. They'll probably lead the league in 13 personnel usage. That would be my guess right now.
I think so. Yeah.
But I mean, 23 and 14 are weird. I mean, and the other part of that is like if Connor Hayward's on the field, but he's in the backfield, which one is it? Do you call him a running back? Do you call him a tight end? I mean, that's one of his benefits is that he does blur the line for defenses. But, I don't know how – like, you can't put 4 tight ends on the line. I've never seen anyone attempt that. If you have 4 tight ends on the field, one of them is in the backfield, which means he's not really a tight end. So, I mean –
kind of want to see it now. If no one else has done it, I kind of like.
They don't have 5. But
well, that's where DK Metcalf comes into play.
4 tight ends and DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
Would be impressive.
Mm-hmm. Actually, Darnell Washington is the QB, basically. He's taking a direct snap. This is the tush-push, basically, alignment. However, there's DK Metcalf on the line of scrimmage in his spot. I don't know what I'm trying to concoct here.
So we're putting a running back in. We're taking Aaron Rodgers off the field.
Yes.
Darnell Washington is going to play quarterback. DK Metcalf is the one wide receiver. You have presumably Caleb Johnson in the backfield. Mm-hmm. And then you've got Pat Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, and I assume Connor Hayward. Connor Hayward's the fullback. And then you have Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith. It's an interesting formation. Darnell as a tush-push quarterback is an idea that has some merit. Like, don't just like laugh that off completely.
Listen, after seeing a lot of teams around the league start to do that last year, that's why I thought of it. But I don't know. One more question I wanted to get to before there was a couple things like league wide to talk about. Dog from Springfield here. My guy Pease has said, of course, none of this matters if they whiff on the quarterback next offseason, but what steps do you think the needs to take to become a realistic contender as early as 2027 if they do hit on that quarterback? So basically, what else on the roster would you look at right now and say, okay, if they hit on the quarterback, this is the other areas that I'd be looking at?
Well, I mean, it's between now and 2027, I guess. Is the
That's
question,
when,
right?
the Nick Herbig,
the roster is going to look a little different between now and then. Here's what they don't have that I feel good about being here in its role in 2027. They need another wide receiver badly. Mm-hmm. They need that now. They'll need to replace Isaac Seumalo by then, certainly, if not as soon as next season. Yeah. They'll need a second cornerback.
I say, even if you feel really good about the corners right now, and with their ages of Darius Slay and Jalen Ramsey, it's tough to look 2 years down the line.
Slay, obviously, I wouldn't put even in pencil beyond this year. Ramsey, you could, but even if you did, by 27, you need another corner to go with Joey Porter Jr., and you need a free safety. And you probably need another defensive lineman. I have been a rather steadfast. What do you call someone who's a hater of haters? We need a word, right? Like a hater basher. I'm a Cam Hayward hater basher. That's a handful of a name, but I am a Cam Hayward hater basher. But even a Cam Hayward hater basher does not think he's going to be a starting caliber defensive lineman in 2027. And yeah, Derek Harmon's one, and Kenneth Benton's one, and you need at least one more. So they need another defensive tackle. They need a left guard. They need a wide receiver. They need a corner, and they need a safety. And I think you can feel pretty good about all the rest between now and 27.
I don't know if there's a word for it, but I kind of like just switching it to like a synonym of hater, like a Cam Hayward hater detester, or Cam Hayward hater.
I'm a counter hater.
Loather. Yeah, that's probably a
counter hater. Yes.
Kind of just sounds like you're saying Connor Hayward, to be honest.
Connor Hayward. Maybe I am also a Connor Hayward counter hater. Because Connor gets ridiculous hate for being Cam's brother, and people think that's the only reason he's on the team, which is ridiculous. He was a very good college player, and he's an excellent special teamer, and every team has some of those guys who are late-round draft picks hanging around doing his job. He's not an all-pro or anything, but he's certainly more than qualified to be here.
Not that people care if he can't play, but also a great dude. Showed up to Pat's camp again, even though he wasn't like part of it, and ended up just like running drills with kids, and they were super excited to see him and stuff. So
I have not experienced Connor in that setting, but I get the feeling that he would be really good at that.
Yeah.
Like he seems like a guy who'd be really good at like working with kids.
Dude, and like
that kind of thing.
These kids obviously like that we might need to get like some kid in like the 6 to 10-year-old range on the beat, because they'll ask the questions that if for some reason someone's afraid to.
I got a story time. I don't know. This may be before the start of this podcast. Mitch Trubisky gets signed to be the Steelers starting quarterback. And he's having a youth camp up in Menor, Ohio, where he's from. So it's not far to Menor. I'm like, I'll go up. I don't know Mitch very well. He's just saying he's a free agent. This is a good opportunity to get to know him a little bit. I go up there, and in between the time that I tell Mitch I'm going to come, of course, the Steelers draft Kenny Pickett. And the kids at the camp are like just ruthless, both on two fronts. First of all the kids are Browns fans. So one kid is literally like, why have to go play for the stupid Steelers? Like, that's literally like what. And then another person is like, is Kenny Pickett better than you? Is he going to take your job? I'm just like, oh my God. Like, Mitch is getting grilled here by fourth graders at a level that the Pittsburgh media will never come close to in his entire career, I'm sure.
Yeah, you either told me that, because I remember hearing that exact same thing. But so last year somebody asked Pat who he wanted to be the starting quarterback at his camp. This year somebody asked Connor if he still had a job. So yeah, these kids, they'll ask whatever. They don't care. So, but like I said, Connor being Connor answered it very well and took it great and just went about his business. The last thing that I want to speak to of business here, Trey Hendrickson, Cincinnati Bengals still seem to have a ways to go to get this piece of business done. We said yesterday on here, we felt like it was going to happen. It seemed like there was positive momentum towards it happening as early as yesterday. However, it was reported they don't want to go past 1 year guaranteed money. He's looking for something that more aligns with the deals that were signed this offseason in terms of the guarantees. What do we make of this? Did TJ's deal impact this to a degree that maybe we thought is greater than what we thought it was going to be, or what do we make of it?
I don't think TJ's deal had anything to do with this, but I really don't know. And it would be really hard. Oh, got some emergency vehicles coming through here. I really don't think TJ's deal has much to do with this because, I mean, it's not like Hendrickson and TJ should feel like they're in the same stratosphere. Like, they're not. I mean, he's nowhere near as good of a player. I think I don't see how it could. I mean, look at, again, as we talked about frequently with the TJ stuff, look at where Danielle Hunter was. $36 million.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure Hendrickson's better than him. Pretty sure he's not as good as Watt and Garrett. So there's your range. He's got to get 37, 38, or 39 million a season. Like, there's nowhere for them to go on the total. So the only thing for the Bengals to really negotiate here is the depth of the guarantee. So I understand why they're there, but, like, they can't be that far apart, and I think it'll get done. There's just no reason for it not to.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about I brought this up with Jennings, like the state of the 49ers wide receiver room. I feel like he kind of has them backed into a corner, but like you look at the state of the Bengals defense and how important Trey Hendrickson is to the group that, I mean, wasn't very good with him. Imagine them without him. Now, there's certainly seems like there should be some positive regression on that side of the football for them this year, and the defensive coordinator change taking place as well. But yeah, I mean, he's just like that defense without him. I feel like it just can't happen. Like, they need to get this deal done from that perspective. So I also agree. I still think it's going to happen, but it's just, 24 hours ago, I felt like it was certainly looking like it could happen as early as that same day. And now he's, left and gone on to Jacksonville, Florida, and, is talking to people in the media, putting out his side of things and his message, and being pretty open about where the offer was in terms of, hey, they're only offering 1-year guarantees.
And he's franchised, right? So, like, he's not really going anywhere. Like this, I mean, he's not going to sit out a whole year. It doesn't make sense for either side to, like, draw a hard line in the sand here. There's a lot of time. I expect to get done. I think Shamar Stewart will get done too. Juwan
I don't know
Jennings,
what to make of that one, because it's like we don't have like a blueprint of somebody doing this before, right? Like, with that situation. So it's tough for me to even say, like, hey, this is how this exact negotiation has gone in the past.
I mean, not for a really long time anyway. I mean, it used to be like that more often when the rookie deals weren't slotted, that, teams would really drive a hard bargain on rookie deals sometimes, but it's been a very long time. He doesn't have a lot of leverage, and he was honestly a guy where, like, he's really talented, but there were some issues in pre-draft that, like, I think a lot of teams were a little scared of. So I don't know I don't know that he has the leverage to force a trade now. Like, I know he was talking about trying to find out if he can go back to school. That's never happened before. But we're in an era of college sports where a lot of things that have never happened before are happening before. But I think that would be pretty unprecedented. I really don't know where he finds the leverage here, though, to get them to give him what he wants. I don't know. That one's pretty interesting. I do think it'll get done, but it's definitely more interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like the way that I saw it reported, at least, is like, if he wants to try to go back, like, he needs to get a waiver signed or something. Like, it's a whole process. But then if he plays football this fall, the Bengals still retain his rights. So he'd have to not play in order to re-enter the draft and have somebody else be able to draft him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think it's so interesting because, again, like, if it happened before, I don't recall it. Like, this exact path is super interesting to me. And it seems like it's about, like, at least the way it's been put out from the Bengals side, it's just like on this extreme case, like something happens where they can like void his contract if he gets in
It's a
trouble
very
legally.
small thing.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like a thing worth fighting for either side, really. I'm a
hey, if
I'm a little.
he gets prison time, yeah, they can void or something.
Let
ridiculous.
me tell you this: like the Steelers maintain really good relationships with agents, and part of the a lot of the things that the Steelers do that like certain subset of fans get upset about, like why are they doing this? Like they could drive a harder bargain here, or that line of criticism. It's because you can't always take and take and take and drive the hardest bargain. You got to let the other side win a little bit and like maintain relationships with those people. You would never see something like this happening with the Pittsburgh Steelers. If they really wanted that, they'd get it because they have those they take care of the people in a way the Bengals just do not and have not.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff. Looking forward to actually talking about some things that are going to be well, I guess tomorrow is more so just arrivals and stuff like that. But it's the week of training camp.
Tomlin talks tomorrow at 4, so tomorrow's afternoon drive will be possibly significantly delayed. I remember last year's was very late.
Yeah, he talks at in quotes 4.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, well, let's hope that like everyone's calves remain attached through the run test this year, and maybe they'll get done a little faster.
Yeah. Well, here's the hoping. But anyways, look forward to the conversations taking place. Until tomorrow, tell the people they can find you.
Hey, Saunders _ PGH on X, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. PGH Steelers Now site's account, SteelersNow.com. Go there, read the word so I can get paid. Sign up for SN Plus. You just missed our July SN Plus members only live stream. We had a lot of fun yesterday with me, you, and DB. If you are a member and you missed it, you can go check it out. Archived on the website there. If you're not a member yet, get signed up for the next one. Also, you get ad-free reading at SteelersNow.com and all the best content from me, DB, and the whole crew. It's definitely worth the whatever. $4 a month. I went to McDonald's today, which I never do.
Oh wow!
It's like $12. I'm like, I don't even like this food. What am I doing? Get SN Plus instead. And of course, it's free for anyone to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications here on the YouTube platform. That helps us grow this channel and continue to reach a larger and larger audience. So you're gonna have to hit me up with a number here. I know we are just over 16,000.
16,000 and didn't end up making any impact last year, but while he did have a stint here during training camp and the preseason, this is the number he wore. Quez Watkins.
Oh, nice little 16, and I will 16,000 and Mark Malone right back at you. That's the first Steelers starting quarterback I can really remember, and not fondly.
I think that I don't recall I think this might have been the first time we landed on 16 as well. So that was.
I think it may be not a well-traveled number in team history. Charlie Batch, of course.
Oh, Lance Moore.
Yeah, there you go. I feel like there's been a couple other of those like undersized wide receivers who have gone down that road, but I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Lance Moore, famously the receiver that caught Antonio Brown's touchdown pass on Monday Night Football against the Texans.
Yeah. I was trying to think of another quote. Jim Miller, also very, very briefly, the Steelers starting quarterback. One game, I think. He was 16 as well.
The last thing was you mentioned the SN Plus. I did want to just say on here because I saw some of the I saw a comment or two about this. I don't know if there's was some confusion about it. Like that's in addition to everything else. We weren't saying you got to be an SN Plus subscriber to continue to get this type of content. This is completely free on the YouTube channel. I saw a comment saying about, well, I guess this is where I get off the ride or something like that. This doesn't change. This is always going to be here on the YouTube platform. That's an additional piece of content for those subscribers to just have a Q&A format live with us. This doesn't impact this at all. So just wanted to clear that up.
Yeah. This is free, except for the We don't have an ad-free version of this. I don't know if there's a way we can do that or not.
Well,
I guess you would, sign up for YouTube TV or whatever. What, YouTube Red, I think it's called, is the ad.
Which we are not paid to say, so.
Yeah.
No free ad.
Well, I mean, they do pay us when people with YouTube Red watch. It's not a very popular product by our metrics.
Okay. Well. Anyways, if you're listening somewhere else, Apple, Spotify, wherever your podcast from, be sure to leave a 5-star review and subscribe over there. Just search Steelers Afternoon Drive. Do the same thing on TikTok, and then you'll find me everywhere. Zachary Smith, PGH, for Alan Saunders, and myself. Thanks for jumping in and taking another ride on the Steelers Afternoon Drive.